I'm Mary Hartnett with Siouxland Public Media News. As Iowans experience yet another day under an excessive heat warning, there are some who don't have a place to protect themselves from the stifling conditions. The Warming Shelter in Sioux City is a nonprofit that is helping homeless people get through the week more safely. One of them is former resident Tammy Bursell, who uses the facility to do laundry and stay cool.
I'm thankful that I got an apartment, but I have no air conditioning. I live on the top floor, and heat rises.
To help out during the heat wave, the day shelter stayed open 7 days a week instead of just a few. Brittany Wilson is the assistant director of the shelter. She worries about those who don't utilize the shelter.
A lot of shade has been cut down, their trees, so a lot of their refuge or methods of reprieve have been dwindling.
Wilson says the shelter is fortunate because its donors have been very generous in donating packs of water so everyone can remain hydrated. The Woodbury County Board of Supervisors is holding a public discussion on the progress of the construction of the new law enforcement center at next Tuesday's meeting. Supervisor Chairman Matthew Ung made the announcement at the end of this week's supervisors meeting. The discussion will take place shortly after the 4:30 p.m. supervisors meeting convenes on August 29th. Former governor and now Nebraska Senator Pete Ricketts is kicking off his 2024 U.S. Senate campaign. Ricketts is making stops today in North Platte, Kearney, Norfolk, and Omaha, Nebraska. Ricketts was appointed to the Senate seat in January after former Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse resigned to become the president of the University of Florida. State officials in Iowa have significantly raised its Medicaid reimbursement rate for substance abuse counseling. The 2023 Iowa legislature approved a $13 million increase in Iowa's Medicaid program for both substance abuse and mental health services. $3 million of that funding is used to nearly double Medicaid's reimbursement rate for substance abuse counseling. $7 million is being used to provide a more than 18% increase in what Medicaid will cover for a counseling session with a mental health professional. The other $3 million is being used to raise the daily Medicaid reimbursement for inpatient psychiatric care for children. South Dakota is making millions more available in funding for high-speed broadband for rural communities. In a press release this week, Governor Kristi Noem and the Governor's Office of Economic Development announced the final round of funding of up to $27 million in grants to help smaller communities remain connected online. The announcement is the state's 8th round of broadband expansion grants since 2019. Noem made the announcement earlier this week at the South Dakota Telecommunications Association conference. The University of Iowa now has an insect collection. It was acquired from Iowa Wesleyan University. What may be the largest collection of Iowa insects ever assembled was at risk of being dumped in the garbage, but now it's being rescued and preserved. That's Siouxland Public Media News. I'm Mary Hartnett.